Hi everyone, Tasha here, and I'm so excited to be participating in another crafters party. Today we're going to create these really fun gift card holders. These are perfect for the holiday or any time of the year, and these are a little bit different than ones you may have seen or made in the past. So these open up, and then inside you have several pockets that expand out. And these are perfect sized for gift cards, but you can also put money in them. You could put photos or notes in it, and then it all seals back up and closes to keep everything contained. This is just so much fun as we start getting into the holiday gifting season, and I think it makes a really fun gift idea. So to begin, we're going to make the fold card base. So I did pre-cut this at 3 by 11 inches, and you're going to want to use a heavyweight cardstock. So Eclipse Black ink cardstock from Maker Forte would be a perfect choice for this, but any heavyweight cardstock will do. So I'm going to start by scoring my base, and this is going to be scored 4 times. We're going to score it at 8.5. We're going to move down to 7 3/4. I'm just going to position it, make sure I have it perfect, because this will make the creases to open and close that little gift card holder that we're making. Once you're done with the 2 biggest scores, we're going to score it at 4. And then the last score mark is 3.25. I'll have all of the measurements on my instructions so you can reference that and you don't have to worry about taking notes. But that's all you need, just 4 score lines for the base. Once you have all of your score marks in place, you're just going to want to crease them so that they create these flat top and a flat bottom to hold your pockets. So we're just going to kind of gently score them to get them moving, and then we're going to take a bone folder. You're going to want to make sure you crease all these score lines down really well. This way it has a lot of structure and it'll bend easily, because we want this to open and close with ease. So if you go in with your your bone folder and score these lines again and make sure you press down firmly, they'll open and close without having to struggle, and it'll make everything else easier in the end. So I'm just going to go in and I'm just kind of placing it, just making sure everything fits together. The top part is going to be the shorter end, since you want some of the bottom to show with your pattern paper when we're done. So then you just remember that the shorter fold is the top. And then we're going to make 6 of these little inside pockets for this project. You can make more. There's enough space. You could probably make 8 or so, or even, I don't know, maybe even more than that. If you're just going to have like gift cards or something really flat in it. And you see how these fit that gift card perfectly? It's just the perfect size. These pockets are so easy to make, and they take no time at all to assemble. So again, I'm using a thicker cardstock. You could use a little bit thinner cardstock for these inside pockets, since it isn't the base. These pockets are cut at 6 inches by 4 inches. And then I'm going to score these at the same time after cutting it. This will take 3 score lines. Across, going the long way or horizontally, we're going to score this at 3.25, and this is going to make that center fold where you bend the pocket to create the actual pocket. And then we're going to score it again at 1/2 inch, and the 1/2 inch is going to be the tab that you're going to add glue to seal it all together. So again, 3.25 and 1/2 inch. Then we're going to turn the paper around, so now we have it vertically, and we're just going to do 1 score all the way down at 1/2 inch again. So you really have 1/2 inch on 2 of the sides. Here's an example of where to cut. I did draw it in so you could see it better. Where the two lines, the two score lines meet, we're going to cut a little triangle. Then we're going to make a little notch and then cut off the bottom of the farthest side. Let me show you how that's done. Since it's hard to see on camera, I'm just going to use a pen to kind of make those lines show up a little better. So you see, we're going to have a triangle. Then we're going to create another little triangle or a little notch right there where it meets that center score line. And then we'll cut off all of the bottom from the back panel. I'm just going to use some scissors. This is done really fast. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you do want to make sure that you have enough room to apply the glue. And then I did flip it over. It just made it easier to cut that bottom part off and meet where I cut that little notch mark. And do you see? Now we have two tabs for our glue, and then when we fold it, it'll all fold together perfectly. So once again, I'm just going to use my bone folder, and I'm going to crease all of those score lines really well. We want to make sure that these pockets stay together and that are really nice and flat. So I'm going to rub it on the bottom score, or crease it again on the bottom score. And then I'm also going to use my bone folder on that center score line as well, because again, I want to make sure it's nice and flat. And do you see how it all lines up perfectly? And then you'll have your glue on the inside to create a nice clean pocket. For this, I would recommend liquid adhesive or some maybe red line tape, something really strong. You're not going to want to use any type of, I think score tape may work, but it may be a little bit not permanent enough. But if you have a strong score tape, you can give it a try. But for this, I prefer to use liquid adhesive. Once I have the glue on the outside of both of the tabs, I folded this pocket over and it lines up perfectly. And then I just ran over those glued areas with my bone folder again, just to make sure it adhered really well. And this dries so fast. You can make a bunch of these, just put them aside and move on to the next one, and they'll all be dry around the same time. So this way they really stay together if you're going to make any type of notches or any type of punch on the top. Now you can use a hole punch if you're using lighter weight cardstock or paper, but since I am using a heavier weight cardstock, I did have to run it through a little bit of a die cutting machine. And do you see with the notch, you can easily pull these out. You could also use your scissors and just cut a little opening on the top anywhere you want, or a different type of die if you want to use maybe a square even. It really doesn't matter. It's all up to you. You don't even have to make a notch mark if you don't want to, but I do find it easier to pull these open and to get your gift card out. So I'm going over to my little die cutting machine, and I'm just going to use a tiny circle die and some purple tape to make sure it stays in place. Once you start making a bunch of these, you can line them up to make sure your circles are lined up perfectly. But if they're not, it really doesn't matter. As long as they're somewhere near that center opening, you can pull them still. And you see, it's not perfectly centered, but it's pretty close. And here's an example of another one. I'm going with red and green for this project, since this will be for a holiday gift card holder. And do you see again? I just love that it's two colors. I think it's really fun. This would be great for, again, any time of year, but you could also customize it, maybe someone's favorite colors, if it was like a birthday card, or if it was spring, maybe do some spring colors. And having the multiple colors just makes the inside look so pretty as well. So I'm just going to go in and finish off the pocket that I had left over. And again, just lining it up as best as I can in the center. you can take more time and make sure you line it up against one you already made, and then all of your circles will match perfectly. But I wasn't too concerned about that. And then this is just my last pocket to cut. And I have 6 pockets total for this project. I'm not sure how many really do fit inside these little pocket holders, but I do think that it would be maybe 8 or 9 or 10. It has to be more because when I put these 6 in, I still had room left over. So you could really use this for yourself and just keep maybe gift cards or membership cards or something in it too, and just have them all in one place. That would be a fun idea. Now we're going to make the layers. This kit that we got for the crafters party has so many fun pattern papers for the holidays. I love these ones. They're really cute, and there's so many different ones to choose from. I decided to go with the smaller ho-ho-hos. This way you could really see the design on this project. I thought the bigger print was just too big. So I'm just going to go use my little paper trimmer for this, and we're going to cut the layers. Again, all the measurements will be in the instructions, but these are really simple measurements to do. The only thing I had to make sure was that I had my paper positioned the right way, because since this one has words, you want to make sure you do line it up the right way. So this is the front, and this is cut at 2 3/4 by 3, and this will be your front panel. And again, I wanted to make sure that it did line up with the ho-ho-hos the right way. You can use the same piece of paper to make your other layers. I'm going to go in and make the top, and the top is cut at 2 1/4 by 2 3/4. Again, very simple measurements. I love when projects have easy measurements because sometimes it can be a struggle to find those measurement marks that are in between the ones we use often. So here's the top, and again, I made sure that the ho-ho-hos were going in the right direction. Using the same paper, I'm going to make the back panel. And the back panel is cut at 3 1/2 by 2 3/4. So this one, again, you want to make sure that the ho-ho-hos are in the right place. And I almost cut it the wrong way. I was going to cut that first shorter mark, and I was like, no. So I had to take some time and make sure I measured. It's always better to measure 3 times and cut once. But again, you want to make sure that those ho-ho-hos are going down and not across with the right measurements. Once I was done cutting the top, the front, and the back panel, I thought it would be fun to mix up the design. So I'm going to use this snowflake print to make the very top panel and the bottom panel the smallest areas of our card or our gift card holder. And these panels, we're going to need 2 of them. They're cut at 1/2 inch. And then we're cutting it at 2 3/4. Again, the width of the gift card holder. So you see how cute that is? It's just fun to kind of mix up the design and have 2 pattern papers on here. I did the same thing with my first example. I actually used the print that has like the gift bags, and then I used a different print for the top and the bottom panel, and I really liked how it turned out. So again, just cutting this at 1/2 inch and then 2 3/4, and you'll need 2 of them. Now I'm just going to put this aside, and then we'll move on to the next step. So for my card, we had really fun stamp sets included in this kit, and I wanted to make sure I used one. So I'm going to cut a piece of white paper, and this will be cut at 2 by 1 1/2. And then I'm going to stamp a Merry Christmas greeting. Since this white paper is going to be layered on top of the ho ho hos, I just grabbed a piece of our scrap black paper, and this is the same heavyweight cardstock I use for the base, but you could use any color you want. It would also look great if you put maybe a glitter around the sentiment that we're going to stamp. That would be pretty as well. And this one, I'm just going to cut it slightly bigger than the white paper. So you see how it has just a little bit of a frame. So if you just go over one mark over, it'll have a frame of the black paper around the white. And I just think it gives it a more finished look. So here's the stamp set I decided to use for this project. And this is the holiday wreaths. This one is so cool. It has all of these little greetings, but they're the perfect size for this project. So you could mix and match your greetings or use the same one like I'm going to. So I decided to go with Merry Christmas, or one of the Merry Christmas greetings, and I'm going to stamp it in red onto that white cardstock that we just cut. I'm going to use Color Hive ink in the shade Telephone Box, and this red color is so pretty, especially for a Christmas card. It's a nice deep red. As you can see, my little stamp's already stained from my example card, but that's okay, it still works perfectly. So I'm going to position it on my MISTI since I know I'm going to probably need to stamp more than once, and I am not the best stamper. So I'm trying my hardest to kind of make sure that white paper doesn't move. And here's just a close-up of the ink again. Telephone Box. This is one of my favorite Color Hive colors. It's just so pretty. And then I'm also going to use the Smoosher tool from Maker Forte to help me get even pressure. I really love this tool. I've been using it now for quite a while, and it helps so much, especially for sentiment stamps. I think I have an issue with having even pressure when I push down onto my words, and then I end up restamping, and then one side's darker than the other. So the Smoosher tool really helps. And here's my sentiment, Merry Christmas, and I just love that holiday, the holiday color on the white background. To add a little more color to this bright white cardstock, I decided to add some ink around the edges. So I'm just going to go over and grab my little tool, and I'm going to use some English Mustard Color Hive ink. This is another favorite of mine. I use it in a lot of my projects because it's the perfect shade of yellow in my mind. It's not too light and it's not too dark. It's that perfect in between, and I think it looks great on, usually I use it on either cards or around these type of greetings because it gives a little bit of that yellow glow around your words. And again, it's not a bright yellow and it's not a dark orange color. So it's one of my favorites, and I do like how it looks with the red as well. So I'm just going to go around and lightly add some color, having it dark around the edge and just blend it a little bit towards the center, but still leaving the center white. Isn't that pretty? Doesn't this just give a whole holiday vibe or holiday look to this? I just can't wait for the holiday season to come around. I love fall, but I do love making holiday projects. Now it's time to assemble our card. This is my favorite part. You know, this would be really great to do if you wanted to make a bunch of these and just do each step so that you could sit down, maybe even put on a movie, and then just decorate these little gift boxes for your friends and family. I mean, this is just one of those projects you could totally do while having maybe a holiday movie on. So now that I have all of my little pockets in position, I'm going to add adhesive right to the center of them. This, again, I would recommend liquid adhesive. It just tends to work best, I think, and it just has such a strong hold. And since I want to make sure that it's red and green, I had to make sure that I position my pockets in that order. Once you have the glue, just make sure you line up the bottoms, and then they'll line up perfectly. So after I had that first layer all attached, I did the same thing. So I'm just going to add a whole bunch of glue right to that center, and then I'm going to position the next card on the for the bottoms to match up. So you're just lining up those bottoms and then pressing it down firmly in the center before I put on the next layer. So again, you don't need to put glue all over the place, just put it in the center and then it'll expand out. This way you have that accordion fold when you pull on these from the inside. So again, just going to quickly add my glue, and do you see how fast this goes? This is just the easiest project to do, but it looks harder than it really is. These pockets are quick and easy to make, and then gluing them together is quick and easy to make, but I really think it looks more difficult. So then I'm just going to put on one more layer of red and press down again nice and firmly. Just make sure that they don't pop open. And then I was kind of looking them over, deciding which one I wanted to be on the bottom and then which one will be on the top. So I kind of picked which one looked the best. And I decided to go with having the red on the inside and then having the green be the top. Now for the inside, again, you want to make sure that you line this up where the shorter fold is the top so you know where to attach these. And you see how this is longer, so that's the bottom. And then the top folds over the bottom. And then we're going to just attach our little top panel that we created and made sure that the ho-ho-hos were going the right direction. Have you ever done that before? I do that sometimes, where if I don't double check either maybe where the card folds in, I might have the card on the wrong side, or if I cut paper and don't really pay attention, the design could be going sideways when it was supposed to go down. I mean, I think we've all maybe have done that before, or maybe not everyone has, but I have. So whenever there's a pattern, I get very nervous that I'm going to cut it wrong, especially when I don't have a bunch of extra pieces in case I do make a mistake. So I decided to go in with my glue runner for the rest of these panels because this is just a thinner weight pattern paper. So this is fine to use any type of adhesive that you want to. So then I'm just going to glue on that bottom part. And you see how it looks with those little panels? I just love it. I also really like this card base being black. I think it really allows these colors to pop from the pattern paper. And look, it's already coming together. It's so fun. Christmas paper is always fun. And then I'm just going to attach the next panel. This is the top panel right away. And lastly, I'll attach the back. And again, made sure that those ho-ho-hos were going the right way. Perfect. I just love how this looks. It's really festive, and I think it has a real modern look. I love the words, and I like that I did use 2 different pattern papers. So again, now it's time to attach my little pockets to my card. So I'm going to put liquid adhesive on again, but this time we're going to add liquid adhesive all over this back layer. We want to make sure this card is not going anywhere. Since this card will be holding all the other pockets down and inside of this gift card holder, you want to make sure that this thing is not moving. So to do this, you're going to lift up the card. This way you have it kind of centered where you want it, and just kind of bring that back up. Once you have it in position, put it down and then press firmly. You want to get the card pockets close to that bottom crease, but you want to make sure that your card still bends and folds. I wanted to give this some time to dry, so I decided to move on and attach my little greeting to that black cardstock. So I'm just going to use some adhesive again, And this was quick and easy to do. I just think having that extra layer does give a finished look. But now looking at it, I think next time I will put glitter around it because I think that would look really pretty. And then I'm just going to add it with the same glue runner to that top part of our card. And line it up as best as you can. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just make sure you have it somewhere in that center area. And you see, it looks so put together. It's so quick and easy, but it looks more complicated than it really is. Now, to keep this from opening up on its own and keep everything together, I'm going to use these little Velcro dots. You can get these anywhere. You can get it from Amazon, the dollar store. Just they sell them everywhere. So you're going to position it on the top part and then fold it over, line it up where you have the top edge where that snowflake pattern paper is, where it's flat. This way you know it's in position. Once you have it where you want it, press down firmly, and then it'll attach that bottom Velcro piece. When I did it this first time, I didn't press down hard enough, and I could feel it coming up when I was pulling it, so I just had to press down a little bit harder. And then now everything is in place, and these accordion pockets are pulling out perfectly. And we only have one more step left. Well, actually, no, we have 2 steps left because I wanted to decorate with some more of the embellishments. I took this printed out piece. I know it's upside down in the video, but I did pre-cut it. So I cut out some of the ones I want to use on my projects. And I thought this would be fun to use the one that says gift since it's a gift card holder. So I'm going to attach this right along the bottom. Just using some glue runner again, since this is really lightweight paper. I really like these ephemera pieces or these printed words. They're just really cool. They have that vintage look to them, and these work out great for this type of project. And then lastly, I'm going to attach one of the snowflakes that were included in the kit. There are several, all different designs and shapes. But these ones have a little bit of, it has a little loop on the top so you could hang it to ribbon or hang it onto something. But I didn't want that on this project. I was trying to look for my little cutters that I use for like cutting my dies out, but I just couldn't find it. But I did pre-cut these ahead of time as well. So I'll show you what I did. So do you see the little loop on the top? You can easily remove those. Just take some of your die cutters and then you can just wiggle it and it comes right off perfectly. It's not even sharp when it comes off. And then I'm going to use some of this Maker Forte adhesive and attach the snowflake to the top of my card or my card holder. You're going to want to use a lot of glue for this since this little snowflake is a little bit heavier, and since there's 2 layers, you want to make sure you have enough that the snowflake doesn't come off. And I know that is that is very important because I didn't put enough adhesive on when I was doing this one right away, and it kind of wiggled and went all over the place, and it wasn't enough glue. So you want to make sure you put a generous amount on, and it will dry clear so you don't have to worry about it showing up. So just make sure you have a really large glob of glue right there, and then your snowflake will stay put. And again, it'll dry clear. This is what I did for my first project, and it's on there. It's not going nowhere. So do you see? And it just gives a little more detail. I think it's so pretty, and this is just, again, another element to your gift card. It decorated a little bit. There's just so much going on, and it's so pretty. And let me just show you again how perfect it holds these gift cards. And then you could put another one in here if you want to. You could put a note in here, pictures in here, money in here, do a whole bunch of stuff in here and really customize your gift. And again, there's extra space, so you do have room for more pockets. And here are the 2 gift card holders. I hope you enjoyed the project for today, and I hope you give it a try. If you do give it a try, be sure to share it with me. I love seeing pictures of your guys' projects, and I'll have, again, all of the instructions or all the measurements in the instructions I'll be providing. I hope you guys are having a great weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.